Alright, Suhas, so you just showcased your new unmanned mail aircraft, FWD 200B. But this one is significantly different from what you had showcased 3 months back. What was the reason behind it?
Okay, when we went for a conceptual design, it had to carry a lot of, we wanted to have a lot of volumetric weight, and that's how we have done it. But then we realized we could do it in an optimized way and with a better performance. So that's how we kind of changed it a little bit shape in the fuselage. If you see, more or less it remains the same, but now it is a dual rotor engine with a bigger prop size. Obviously, earlier it was somewhere about some 20-inch prop. Now it has gone up to 24-inch prop. So it had to have a little more clearance. So we had to increase landing gear a little bit. So that's how it seems to be a little different.
So I just read the specifications of your new unmanned mail aircraft. DRDO also launched something similar back in 1996 called Nishant. What was the reason to make this if there was already a Nishant in the market?
Okay, अगर 1996 में बन गया होता तो 1999 वॉर में क्यों यूज़ नहीं किया गया, पहली बात. सेकेंड थिंग, स्पेसिफिकेशन सेम नहीं है. इसका हम 800 किलोमीटर रेंज ले जाने वाले हैं, उसका रेंज सिर्फ 100 किलोमीटर्स था. राइट, देयर इज अ बिग डिफरेंस. वी आर प्लेइंग ऑन सर्टेन पैरामीटर्स. एंड द अदर थिंग इज 28 years, right, 96 to 2014. Let us say that maybe that model is scrapped. Probably some enhanced versions of it would have come up. But in that case, why are we still looking up to Hermes, which we are bringing in the name of Drishti? Why are we looking up to US Predator for a $3 billion deal?
In a lot of your statements, there is a certain perception that you tend to criticize DRDO, HAL a lot. What do you have to say about that?
See, when it comes to DRDO, HAL, these are some very good organizations which are our own state's missionary. I have a deep respect for all this. And these are the organizations which gave us missiles like Agni, Prithvi, Akash. See, when we talk something about a project, it's something related to that particular project. And constructive criticism should always be welcomed. Because being a responsible taxpayer citizen of this country, I feel that our intervention should be there, and with the collaborations probably or certain suggestions from the industry or academia, I think DRDO can also do fantastic, right? That's all we mean. I mean, we never went to criticize any effort done, but it's all about productivity. Is the productivity there? Because end of the day, you're putting a lot of money, you're putting up a lot of time, and in such a need of the hour, we're going behind US. That is what raises some concerns. But otherwise, they're doing fantastic with various other projects. This was something very specific to the project.
हाँ, but following up to the last question, already रुस्तम का उड़ान हो चुका है, तपस का उड़ान हो चुका है, आर्चर 2 का उड़ान हो चुका है, तो ऐसे एयरक्राफ्ट का मार्केट में क्या ज़रूरत है?
Okay, one thing I have to make it very clear. अगर फ्लाइंग वेज मेरा कंपनी है तो DRDO भी मेरा कंपनी है, HAL भी मेरा कंपनी है, because that is something that is run on taxpayers' money, and we have all rights to know what's happening, and we have all rights to add some value to it, whatever we can do, right? And to a question on already the aircrafts that are existing, okay, the first flight was done successfully, well, but it's not still in service, correct? We want something that can be immediately included to the service. The Tapas and Archer, what you see, they're more of a, Tapas, especially when I talk about it, it's a 12-meter wingspan aircraft. It's a huge aircraft, right? That is more on a ISR platform. But this is more used for airstrikes. And also when you talk about Archer NG, Archer type of projects, see, these are aerodynamically proven aircrafts that are imported as a kit and then assembled, right? This nobody can deny. And what we are trying to make here is making it unmanned. So here one thing to observe is, look at the lead time of the imports. The entire agenda of making this aircraft is that There should be a technology within the country, for the country, and developed by the country, which can come use in the time of crisis. Say US is not giving you anything, China is not giving you anything, or Middle East or your Europe is not giving you anything. You should not be like, oh, I cannot make an aircraft at all because certain critical components I can't make here. This is one such attempt to make most of the subsystems within the country, right from the aerodynamics to the propulsions to various subsystems that are made here. Right? This is entirely a different project from what DRDO is doing. Maybe it is in the same category of mail aircrafts, but this is an attempt to build from the scratch.
बहुत सारे लोग ये भी कमेंट कर रहे थे कि आफ्टर वाचिंग द फ्लाइट वीडियो दे वर लाइक दैट द फ्लाइट इज नॉट स्टेबल और दिस प्लेन लुक्स लाइक अ आरसी टॉय प्लेन. इस बार व्हाट वुड यू लाइक टू से ऑन दैट?
आई डिडंट नो आरसी प्लेन्स 50 kg का 100 kg का बनाने लगे हैं. मैंने कभी देखा नहीं कि आरसी एयरक्राफ्ट्स कार्बन फाइबर में बनते हुए उसके साथ कपल्ड विथ वेरियस ऑटो पायलट्स, कंट्रोल सिस्टम्स एंड प्रोफेशनल मिल ग्रेड टेलीमेट्रीज. मैंने तो ये नहीं देखा था. पता नहीं कब ये इतना आगे बढ़ चुके हैं आरसी प्लेन वाले. तो ऐसे कमेंट ज़रूर करेंगे क्योंकि हमारे लेवल उतने तक ही है इंडिया में. बात सही. बिकॉज people have no clue about the aviation or aerospace industry in India, I'll tell you. Because जो बाहर से देखते हैं हमको लगता है कि गोरे लोग जो बनाते हैं that's the best in class. The Western products are best in class. Of course, they might be best in class because look at the investments that they had, right? Look at the opportunities that they have seen, right? Look at the times, decades they have spent to develop all these, and they have the ready platforms with them. And that's where we have done a mistake, that we have not developed in India till date something indigenously, right? That's where we went wrong. We have been more focusing on imports. But now, all thanks to our Honorable Prime Minister, that he has, planted the thought of make in India. That's when all of us started, right? And today you can see fantastic startups in India coming up with various subsystems. I would tell you, the aircraft that we are doing is not an effort of only flying wedge, because there is a consortium which is putting in a lot of efforts, be it manufacturing electronics to be it making a propulsion system. Correct? So, there are a lot of efforts from people who are there in DRDO, who are there in IISc, to many people who are a part of this project have put their efforts into it. And this is the beginning of the era. From here, you will look at how the flight is going to become stable. We are going to trim the aircraft, we are going to tune the aircraft, right? A lot of validation flights will be done. After this, you're going to see all new version of FWD 200B. What we have shown you is a maiden flight of it. The maiden flight itself means for the first time it was ever flown into the sky. And a point to be noted is the wind gusts were about 40 km per hour. At 40 km per hour, even Cessna flights do this, right? When there are heavy crosswinds, to counter that, obviously, the aircraft applies its ailerons to balance itself. And it is withstanding 40 kmph of wind gusts in the maiden flight. I am proud of the flight.
So as you are mentioning, this one was the maiden flight. अब आगे क्या होने वाला है? What are the next stages for FWD 200B?
So yes, initial plan was to make it an 8-meter wingspan aircraft. But then when we had certain discussions with various forces which needs this, the suggestions that we got from the industry and academia was that why not we make it into two different aircrafts which can carry a lesser payload, the other one can carry a bigger payload. So we're coming up with a 12-meter wingspan aircraft as well. This is a 5-meter wingspan aircraft, and as I was telling you, this can carry 30 kgs. The entire idea behind this is, imagine a Bayratkar, right? Your enemy is sending 150 kgs of ammunition or the missiles or something in Bayratkar drone. You just need one missile to take it down. Am I not right? At the same time, if I am dividing that 150 into 5 different aircrafts and putting them into swarm, now one of it at least will achieve the mission. And the enemy needs 5 missiles to fire to take down 5 aircrafts. And that's the way you do a economical and efficient warfare. Your cost of producing the smaller aircrafts are much cheaper. The cost of taking down the smaller aircrafts will still remain the same for your enemy, right? So once you fire all your missiles, you will be left with no ammunition, and that's what is being happen in Russia Iran case, right? The 300 projectiles had to be taken down. Again, Russia pranked similarly with Ukraine also. Whether you have warheads or you don't have warheads, you got to take those aircrafts down at any cost. So the enemy will put his all efforts and ensure that it is taken down at any cost.
एक ये सबसे बड़ा डाउट है आई थिंक मेन स्ट्रीम उसमें कि इंजन से लेके आप इलेक्ट्रिक प्रोपल्शन पे कैसे आ गए.
So again, as I'm telling you, हम बाहर से अगर कंपोनेंट, मैं गाइडेंस नेविगेशन एल्टा से लाऊंगा, रडार्स एल्टा से लाऊंगा, बोइंग या जी से इंजन्स लाऊंगा, राइट? If I'm going to get all these critical components of an aircraft and try building it here, और मैं भी एरोडायनेमिकली प्रूफ एन एयरक्राफ्ट को लेके आऊंगा और असेंबल करूंगा, यहाँ पे फ्लाई करूंगा, तो आई विल ऑल्सो शो यू अ वर्ल्ड क्लास फ्लाइट ऑन द डे वन. बट वॉट वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू हियर इज वी आर बिल्डिंग फ्रॉम द स्क्रैच, एंड आप पब्लिक में देख रहे हो कि कैसे बिल्ड कर रहे हैं इसको. Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. Also that this is an attempt to make things in India, keep the supply chain under the control of India. क्राइसिस के टाइम पे हम किसी के सामने जाके भीख नहीं मांगेंगे. अब हम किसी को देंगे बट लेंगे नहीं कभी. This is what we are trying to do. All right. And when you talk about engines, देखिए आज I am not into manufacturing of engines. The ecosystem has to support me. But हम यहाँ तक बना चुके हैं एक प्लेटफॉर्म जहाँ पे lot of startups along with us are able to manufacture sub-components now, right? So what we are trying to do is we are trying to have certain designs in place where we can empower various other startups. For example, there is a beautiful startup that has done these electric propulsions. 40 किलो की थ्रस्ट एक मोटर दे पा रही है आपको. इलेक्ट्रिक propulsions मिला के 80 kgs का थ्रस्ट दे पा रही है. अब if your aircraft is able to do it with the electric propulsion, which you have the complete command over the design, technology, and also the production, why not? The idea is to mass manufacture, because I am not seeing any company which is doing IC engines for, especially for aero grade. If I have something like that in India, I'll be happy to use that.
A lot of people are saying कि यार international level पे आपने बेइज्जती करा दिया हमारा, and this is now how we want to represent India. What are your thoughts on that?
See, even it has come to my board's notice that people are trying to defame us on a bigger level, bigger platform. And what I can say to all these guys, I really don't have time to go behind these keyboard warriors. एंड इंटरनेशनल लेवल की बेइज्जती की बात होती है तो क्या यूएस से 2 साल से हम प्रेडेटर के पीछे पड़े हैं मांगते हुए, तब नहीं आया शर्म? एविएशन इंडस्ट्री की बात कर रहे हो, इंडियन एविएशन इंडस्ट्री का आई एम लाइक मोर टू द एविएशन इंडस्ट्री इन इंडिया. किस एविएशन इंडस्ट्री की बात कर रहे हो? कहाँ थे ये सब एविएशन इंडस्ट्री व्हेन गो एयरवेज गॉट कंप्लीटली ग्राउंडेड? MRO नहीं कर पा रहे थे वो अपने एयरक्राफ्ट्स की. they were behind Pratt and Whitney. I feel so bad that they had to lose crores together. We are in such a pathetic state in India where we can't maintain the aircrafts. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग तो छोड़ दीजिए, अब किस एविएशन की बात कर रहे हो आप, राइट? आर्बिट्रेशन किया उन्होंने, सिंगापुर गए, सुप्रीम कोर्ट गए, कहाँ नहीं गए? क्या हुआ? कहाँ थे ये सब एंथुजियास्ट, सो कॉल्ड एविएशन एंथुजियास्ट जो कीबोर्ड वॉरियर्स है, जो थर्ड ग्रेड रिव्यू लिखते हैं कई फॉरेन कंपनीज की, जो गोरों की बहुत चाटते हैं? कहाँ गए थे ये सब लोग? ब्रिटानिया ग्रुप वाज वेटिंग फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू टू गिव अ सॉल्यूशन.
My last question is sort of related to this question only, that there are a lot of YouTubers, pages on Twitters, I think we're constantly questioning you, trolling you, and sort of poking questions and poking faults in FWD, poking faults in you as a person and the company. Does that affect you? Is it affecting your business? And how do you look at that?
See, we're doing fantastic business, right? People who are serious about it were always serious. Governments are serious. Government R&D institutes are serious. जिनके साथ चल रहा है. Customers are serious. द इंडस्ट्री सीरियस. जिनको कोई लेना देना नहीं है इसके साथ जो जिंदगी में कभी एक एयरक्राफ्ट बनाया नहीं है, तो कभी देखा नहीं है एक एयरक्राफ्ट को बनते हुए, ये सब लोग whatever they say will have no significance on it. We are a young profitable startup and investors are happy about it, and customers are happy about the quality of the product that is being given. And also this is a company which has got airworthiness certificate twice for all the subsystems that we have built for 2 of our unmanned aircraft systems that are already there. So if you are trolling the Directorate General Civil Aviation, you are trolling your own country, you are trolling your own missionary. So what have we got to say about it? So do you say DGCA has got no standards? No, they take about a year to validate what you are doing. They put us through a lot of tests, a very rigorous test, and that's how they give you a certificate. They're very stringent. Even the small thing will not be compromised, right? Because airworthiness is very crucial. And this aircraft, if you talk about, this is still in a maiden state. Maiden flight is done, and you have got to build a lot on top of it. No, see, all I can do is, if people want to experience building of the new age technology within the country, they're more welcome. They can come here, they can see what progress is going on, they can then write whatever the views they want.
बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो इसको कंपेयर करते हैं विद चाइना का ड्रोन्स, विद यूएसए के ड्रोन्स. आप इसको कैसे कंपेयर करते हो?
सी, चाइना का तो हम बात करते ही नहीं है, बिकॉज आई टेल यू, चाइना जो प्रोग्रेस हुआ है ना लास्ट फ्यू डेकेड्स में, वी कांट इवन रीच दैट स्टेज सो अर्ली. अभी मेक इन इंडिया प्रोग्राम से वी हैव ऑल स्टार्टेड ऑफ. If you look at 30 years ago, last 30 years, where were we? Right? Where was China and where is China today? You cannot flex in front of China, I am telling you. And ये जो भी बोल रहा हूँ ये सच है. बहुत देशभक्त लोग आ जाएंगे, नकली देशभक्त, और बोलेंगे कैसा बोल रहे, चाइनीज़ एजेंट है, पाकिस्तानी है. ट्रूथ इज़ दैट, राइट? यस, और मिसाइल गेम स्ट्रॉन्ग, मैं इसके बारे में कमेंट नहीं कर रहा हूँ. मैं सिर्फ I am talking with respect to this particular technology. When there is a problem, you have to identify the problem, you have to rectify it. वो करने के वजह, if you keep assuming that you are already strong, you can do something big, you are the one who are going to regret during the crisis time. You have to be ready, and if you are not up to the mark, it's never too late. Wake up, अभी कर लो. That's what we are trying to do now. क्राइसिस के टाइम पे मैं बता रहा हूँ, द वे इंडिया इज ग्रोइंग, नो बडी वुड हेल्प यू आउट इन द क्राइसिस टाइम. आज क्यों नहीं मिल पा रहा है हमको मेल एयरक्राफ्ट, बताइए. अब शायद ये इट माइट नॉट बी एबल टू compete with the predator, or whatever you say. For how long it cannot do? It's a matter of another 3 months. I've talked about taking down F-16, and I don't know, many illiterates were commenting, F-16 unmanned, does you know anything about aviation? Yes, US has already conducted a successful flight of F-16 being unmanned. So when something unmanned is coming into your territory, you have to be ready for that. Unmanned coming into our territory, what is even saying? If Pakistan is deploying that, आप क्या करेंगे? बैठ के उसका एकदम अर्घ्य देंगे, आइए भाई साहब ठोक दीजिए हमको? नहीं ना. You will have some counter system developed, and we have not come out of the slave mindset in India. अभी तक मैं बताता हूँ, dreaming itself is a sin in India. I mean, why can't you take down F-16? So you are saying that we Indians cannot develop anything like this to take down F-16. Maybe today, yes, I may not be able to take down. I'll figure out going forward, right? अब यहाँ तक आ चुके हैं. अब see, the significance of this project is, again I'm telling you, पूरा indigenized subsystems के साथ उड़ा है. अभी ट्यून करने में ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लगेगा. अब इसको और एनहांस करने में ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लगेगा. और इसके ऊपर हम दूसरा एक्स मांटा प्रोजेक्ट पे बैठ रहे हैं, जो 45,000 to 50,000 फीट टच करने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है. डिजाइन ऑलरेडी शुरू हो चुका है. विल कम आउट विद दैट ऑल्सो. and you cannot waste your decades together. एक चासी बनना है तो 3 महीना लग जाएगा, एक सब सिस्टम बनना है तो महीने लग जाएंगे, एक एयरक्राफ्ट डिलीवरी होना है तो 12 साल लगेगा. इतने में तो मतलब जंग खत्म ही हो गया होगा. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द क्राइसिस. अगर आपको आज आ जाए तो क्या करेंगे? यू हैव समथिंग इन प्लेस. अब इसको ISO सर्टिफिकेट नहीं दे सकते हैं, अब इसको एयरवर्थिनेस सर्टिफिकेट के लिए वेट नहीं किया जा सकता है. देयर इज अ क्राइसिस, लगाओ फोड़ो. राइट? यू शुड थिंक ऑफ इट टैक्टिकली. अगर लोग को ऐसा लगता है कि हम भारतीय लोग कर ही नहीं पाएंगे, जो अभी तक किया नहीं है, तो लगता है कि अभी आगे भी हम नहीं कर पाएंगे, ये बहुत गलत बात है. और आप एक मेक इन इंडिया मिशन को मॉक कर रहे हो, जो हमारी खुद की ताकत को आप मॉक कर रहे हो. वी आर गोइंग नोवेयर विद दिस एटीट्यूड.
आई एम डाउन टू माई लास्ट क्वेश्चन. A lot of people were commenting about the subsystems and they were asking कि भाई इंडिया में बनाया है तो क्या बनाया है. People were saying कि अच्छा नहीं, ये चाइनीज़ के components लेके उठा के बना दिया है और ये RC plane बना दिया है. What sort of subsystems are we talking about?
So these are the sub-components that we have built. This is more of a universal platform that we have built and more or less goes onto most of the drones that we make, and these are the components that are going into your bomber as well, with the higher thrust motors. That's it. All other platforms we have a propulsion system which gives you thrust of 3 kg, 4 kg, 10 kg to various kgs. But on a bomber one that you see, that this goes for about 40 kg thrust each motor. The entire thrust is up to 80 kg. You can see this is one of the motors that has been built here indigenously in India. Again, this is not a T motor. This is a motor that is being developed in India, outperforming all those, has got type certification for airworthiness from Civil Aviation, Directorate General of Civil Aviation. And please, people who want to see it, see it. This is not something that is built here. No, that is a fixed one. And this is the electronic speed control. This is a 200 amp speed control that is developed specifically for bomber. And we have a battery management system, the battery elimination circuit. We have got a power sensor, what we have got, which is called more of a moth sensor, that have been imported to India, that we have now built in India with the quality. We have a power distribution board. Again, it can support up to 200 amps. We have a board, that can be used for various controllers, that where we can use it for operating the control surfaces, or it can be for certain operations like uplock mechanisms, something like that, and or the dropping mechanisms. Then we have a control systems, again flight controller, that is being developed within the country. And you can see this is the effort that has been put into making this entire aircraft. So it's not just a bought out aircraft that is aerodynamically proven and we are just trying to put some pickstock into it and fly it off. And this is not an RC class aircraft. This is a proper 5-meter wingspan aircraft, MTOW of 102 kgs, a serious aircraft being built with the subsystems which are already type certified for airworthiness. Along with it, it has got a lot of other certifications also, JSS Penta 5 standards, the mill grade, it has got IEC standards as well, right from the shock test to EMI EMC test to the environmental test like hot chamber, cold chamber, the humidity test. You name a test, it has undergone whatever is required as per the standards of International Civil Aviation Organization.